Hi. I've not done one of these for a while, and thought I'd try and get back into them a little bit. I have a question. Does anybody just look at a football match and they want to have a bet on it? How do you decide who you're betting on? Do you bet on favourites? Do you bet on the home team? Do you bet on your favourite team? Or do you actually look at the stats and this is how I'm going to be betting? I'm looking at tonight's games between England and Italy. So you got Palace against West Ham. Now, if I was just going to be betting on a whim, I would probably say Crystal Palace in 13th, West Ham is 17th. There's around about 10-point difference in the league. So I could say, okay, Palace at home, higher in the league, going to be favourites, so maybe backing them. Or do you go looking deeper into the match and you actually think, well, hang on a minute, what is the fundamentals of Crystal Palace attacking and defence, or what is the fundamentals of West Ham attacking and defence? What is the form they're in? So, for instance, Palace have won 3 out of the last 5. West Ham have won 2 out of the last 5, losing 2 and drawing 1. So Palace are in better form. They've got 10 more points. But then you take into consideration this time of the season, there's what West Ham have got, there's 6 games left to the end of the season, and they're in a particularly dodgy spot. They're a point ahead of West Ham, game in hand. A win today will put them 4 clear of Tottenham, and bit of breathing space when it comes to the relegation places. So there's all sorts of things you can consider. For me, if I'm looking at this match, I'm definitely going to have to go a bit deeper. So I created a spreadsheet. It's called the ceiling for now. It's something that I'm looking at. And the reason why I called it the ceiling is I'm looking at the ceilings of the teams. What are they capable of doing? So if I look at Crystal Palace, for instance, they got an XG over 90 minutes of 1.93. Now, don't pay much attention to that. It doesn't mean they're going to score 2 goals a game. It just means that they do create around 2. If this game was played 10 times, they would probably create 2 goals in a match on average. They could create less, and sometimes they could create more. But the ceiling's there, but they only score 1 goal, so I know that Crystal Palace are going to have a high amount of shots in this match, but they're not going to score them. They're probably only going to put away half of them, not even that in this game. But their XGA is 1.48, so I know that they are going to concede some shots, but they don't really let all them in, so run about a goal a game, if and then. And their goal for 52%, so they put half the chances away. 80% of the shots they face end up in the back of the net. And I also know that Crystal Palace have lost 7 points this season, and they should have had. And that could be due to the fact they can't put the ball in the back of the net, and then they concede and they lose the match. West Ham, on the other hand, they don't create as much as what Crystal Palace do, but they do put a lot away. So it's 95% goal for percentage is the conversion rate from shots to goals. So they actually create 1.18 goals a game, or chances, should I say, a game. They score on about 1 goal a game, which is about 95%. So they don't create much. What they do create, it tends to put in the back of the net, basically. But their defence, they do concede a lot of chances. 2.04, that's quite high. And they tend to end up in goals. 8-9% of them end up in goals. But West Ham do have a habit of taking points on some occasions from losing positions or positions where they're drawing up, etc. So, looking at this game, you can see Crystal Palace dominating it. They're going to have a lot of possession. They're going to create a lot of chances compared to West Ham. Looking at 2.04, West Ham are going to have to concede a lot of ground, and they'll probably end up going in a low block, a low defensive block. Problem with that is Palace don't score. Palace can't. So I can see, even though Palace are higher, there is a chance for West Ham to actually sneak this game. Especially create the low block. Don't give Palace any chance to score, which they struggle to do anyway. And then maybe hit on the counter attack. They've got Bowen there. So maybe hit them on counters what I'm thinking that game. Again, it could go totally opposite way. Palace going to win in 4-0. You know what football's like. But looking at the data, I'm seeing that West Ham could win this game away from home and move away from the relegation spots, especially as this game means more to West Ham than it does to Palace. When you look at the game in Italy, you got Lecce against Fiorentina. Well, Lecce don't create much, they don't score much, so the fact they only create a goal a game, but they don't really put them all away. 63% is quite low, and their average 1.52 goals a game is around about 1.38, which is 91% of the shots they face end up going in the back of the net. So it doesn't make good reading for Lecce. Whilst Fiorentina, they don't create much themselves, but they do put away what they create. They're more like an Everton. They don't create much, but they take what they create basically, 89%, 1.66, 1.50, and 90% again. I don't think Lecce have the attacking capabilities of scoring against Fiorentina. Now, I might be wrong. It might be one of them games where Lecce ends up scoring. But I can see Fiorentina, I can see it's been a really tight match and a sneaky 1-0 win for Fiorentina. Looking at their goals ratio and looking at them, I think it could be a 1-0 win for Fiorentina looking at this pre-game. I'm not going to put anything on tonight. I'm just going to look how it gets on and see if my predictions are correct. So, predicting a West Ham win. Definitely a both teams to score match though, I think, with West Ham's 2.04 XGA over 90. I think if Palace get the opportunities and they keep putting the ball in the box, which I think they're going to, it's whether they can get out in the end of some of them. And that's what's the dangerous thing, because the West Ham do allow chances created against them. It's whether Palace can finish them off. I got a feeling West Ham going to win that one though. And Fiorentina, a tight 1-0 win against Lecce. So let's see how that gets on and see if my guessing work is correct.